This year, we will study the history of India in the post-independence era. Today, we are going to start with the lesson Sources of History. Sources of history help in understanding of past events, inventions, culture and civilization. The sources of history are written, material, oral and audiovisual sources. While studying history in modern period, we have to take note of various sources at the regional, state, national as well as international level. Let us start with written sources. On your screen you will see some written sources of history. Let us try to understand these. Periodicals. These are magazines or newspapers which are published at regular intervals. Diaries. Diaries are books in which one keeps a daily record of events and experiences. Reference books. A book intended to be consulted for information on specific matters. Correspondence. Correspondence is communication by exchanging letters. Documents in the archives. What are archives? Archives are places where public records or other historical documents are kept. The main office of the National Archives of India is at New Delhi and it is the largest archive in Asia. Government gazettes. Gazette is a periodical publication that has been authorized to publish public or legal notices. Postage stamps are issued by the Postal Department. Encyclopedia. Encyclopedia are book or set of books giving information on many subjects or on many aspects of one subject and are typically arranged alphabetically. Newspapers. Let's see written source of history, newspapers. Newspapers are considered as fourth pillar of democracy. There was no alternate to print media, especially newspapers, till about the year 2000. With the coming of internet, the scenario has changed and there are a lot more options available. However, newspapers still as source of information and source of history are important. Students, we have all read and seen newspapers. Can you tell me what it contains? Newspapers give information about national, international events, politics, arts, sports, literature, social and cultural affairs. Some important print media options are newsletters of various movements, the dailies and weeklies of political parties, monthly and annual magazines. Some newspapers also publish supplements that give information about various topics. Next written source is Press Trust of India. Now, the Press Trust of India is the largest news agency in the country. It is a non-profit cooperative among more than 500 Indian newspapers. Its headquarters is in New Delhi. It has more than 1,000 full-time employees. PTI, or the Press Trust of India, provides reports, photographs, articles on number of topics and issues to newspapers. The Press Trust of India during the 1990s started using satellite broadcast technology instead of teleprinters to spread information all over the country. The Information and Broadcasting Department under Research, Reference and Training published India 2000, an annual reference book. It contains information regarding a number of topics like land, political system, defense, education, cultural events, developments in science, environment, social welfare, information regarding economy, agriculture, rural development, law, sports, health and lot more. This is an important source to study history. Next we come to postage stamps. Now postage stamps are issued by the Postal Department. It issues stamps based on number of themes, topics, personalities, events, etc. By studying these stamps, we understand how times have changed or what important events have taken place. For example, students, on the screen you will see a postage stamp. When you look at it, what do you see? The postage stamp says First Asian Games 1951. This stamp was issued to commemorate the first Asian Games, thus emphasizing on the importance of the event. Jal Cooper played an important role in taking the study of Indian postage stamps to the international level. The Jal Cooper postage stamp was issued in 1977. This shows how invaluable and important Jal Cooper's contribution was in the study of postage stamps. Students, let us now move on to material sources. On the screen you will find some material sources of history. They are coins, places of worship, things in daily use, royal seals, ornaments, museums, clothing, modern architecture. Coins as a material source of history. How can coins help us to understand history? The kind of metal used indicates economic conditions and technological developments. The different figures on the coins conveys different messages or depicts certain events. Coins help to understand the conditions prevailing when the coin was issued. Museums. Museums bring together things to be displayed and studied depending on the theme and subject of the museum. Example: coins, notes, lamps, cricket equipment, etc. Museums can be set up by government or by private collectors. Museums preserve and display objects, paintings, photographs, etc. that can be used to study history. Let's move on to oral sources of history. Some oral sources of history are folk tales, folk songs, proverbs, ovis, povadas, and ballad. Povadas are narration of heroic deeds of men and women in prose and poetry form to inspire people. Ballad are poem, song, narrating a story in short stanzas. They are passed on orally from one generation to another. Audiovisual sources. Some audiovisual sources are television, films, internet, photographs, recordings, etc. Now students, why are audiovisual sources available for the modern period and not for ancient and medieval period? It is because the technology needed for these audiovisual equipments was not available. Let us move on to audiovisual sources, Film and Television Institute of India. It was started by Government of India at Pune in 1960 to provide public education. The Indian News Review has produced videos on many events in political, social, art, sports and cultural topic. This department has also produced documentaries on important leaders and people who have made important contribution for the country, and also on important location in India. These videos are important sources to study history. Change in technology. Due to rapid development in technology, we find new sources coming forth. An example of technological development is during the transformation from landline to cell phones. A gadget called pager came up for contacting people. But it did not last long. It was soon replaced by cell phones. Internet is a very big source of information and an important tool in the study of history. But we should be careful and verify whatever information we get. History is a subject that impacts all aspects of life. Therefore, it is important to preserve and protect and contribute to all sources of history. Students, with this we complete our explanation for the chapter Sources of History. Thank you for listening. Goodbye and take care.